All right, so let's look at some of the market data for the SP-1 Connor Bedard card from the 2023 Upper Deck NHL Draft. I took this screenshot a couple of days ago. We now have 8 PSA 10s out of the 153 cards graded. Up until about December, I would say around mid-December, let's just call it mid-December, there were 0 10s, right? So that has accelerated pretty fast. I think based on a few of the users or a few of the friends of the channel in the comments had said that cards, there were definitely quality control issues here. Cards tended to have the same damage in the same spot, so that made it made sense that there were no 10s at that point, and everything was kind of getting a 9 and an 8. But that 8, the PSA 10s has accelerated, and a bunch have come in recently, and that has now really started the mania, right? And that's what we've been sort of waiting for. The mania on the raw cards. The raw cards have kind of settled in, somewhere in general in between $600 and $700. And as you see when we go through the various prices of the 8s, 9s, and 10s, that's more or less where the 8s have settled. We normally see a high watermark, right? The PSA 10, the first one was 10 grand. First one on PSA 9 is 2,200. First one on 8 is 1,100. Normally that represents a high watermark. And then we see prices kind of slowly decline from there as more cards come into the market. But let's look at some graphs. We'll start with the 8s. All right. So here we're looking at the PSA 8. The graph, not too exciting, right? I mean, we started around 1,100. It settled in basically in the $700 to $800 range. Nothing too crazy there. We'll see how it evolves. I think this is only over a couple of months. 1105 probably represents the high watermark, but we'll see how things progress. Now let's look at the 9s. Okay, PSA 9. This has a high water mark of 2,200, but that actually, as you can see from the graph, happened in mid-November, right after we started off, in the $1,400 range. We've gone up and down, and we're settling in right where we almost started, right? $1,100, $1,200. Those are the last few sales. Plenty of these are on the market. We'll see how that evolves. Now, if we go over to the 10, there's only three or four sales that have happened here. First one came out at $10,000. That typically represents a high watermark. Although we did see after I took these screenshots, I think a day or two later, that there was a sale that was above 10,000, like around 10. I think it was 10,300, something along those lines. I have to believe that it was a valid sale and it got completed, but we'll see. We'll see what we see in some of the future listings. I think as more and more come on the market, we'll see more and more volume. I'd be surprised if we see this card jump up any further than 10,000. Frankly, I'd be surprised, be very surprised as well, if the 10,000 has not 10,300 or whatever that final number was. It doesn't represent the high of the market. Hey, what do you think? Are you do you have this card? Are you grading it? Are you trying to acquire this card? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for joining.